I become a father, unfortunately, while I still was in prison. So I'm in jail, and she tells me she's pregnant. I'm like, oh, you pregnant? I gotta do a fresh year.
Welcome to Rap Dads, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I worked at Atlantic Records for a while. And what the biggest impression that time left on me was your fatherhood. Because everywhere you went, you had Zane with you.
Yeah, right.
So one of my favorite Maino Rap Dad moments was on the set of the High Hater remix in Brooklyn. And you were walking around set. At the time, the record is hot as fish grease. And so the remix is star-studded.
Right.
You're walking around set, introducing your son to everyone on set. But the way that you're conducting this is what really hit. Because you're telling him, yo, shake his hand. Not with that hand, with the right hand. Look him in the eye when you meet him. Tell him your name. And at that point, how old was he?
He was about 6 years old. Yeah, remember
I'll
that day.
never forget that day. Like, that impression was lasted on me for a really long time.
Wow.
So these were the stories. This is the reason why it was so important for me to sit down with you on this show, man.
Appreciate that.
Absolutely. So let's take it back to the beginning. First and foremost, tell us about your children, their ages, their names.
I got 2 kids. You brought up Zane. Zane is my son. 20 years old now. And I have a daughter, Gia. She's 11.
What was your relationship like with your father?
I feel like very early on, me and my brother had a great relationship with our father. I feel like my father really loved us. I feel like there would have been nothing in the world that my father wouldn't do for us. I still remember, lessons that he taught me. I still remember things that he said to me. I still hear his voice. I just think that my father becoming addicted, to drugs, pushed him and put him in a place to where he wasn't able to be the person that he needed to be for us. He wasn't able to be the father, that he could have been for us. They say that, crack addiction, especially back then, we talking about the crack 80s, right? So they said it's like a disease. Addiction is a disease. He wasn't able to really live up to the man that I know he could have been because of that.
Did you have that understanding while you were young, or is it in hindsight now?
It's in hindsight now. When you're a kid, when you 10 years old, and you remember having a TV, you remember having a VCR, and then stuff is gone, and and everything is changing around you. It's nothing in the house no more, and you see your father on the block. You see him with the rest of the addicts, and it's just like, man, like, I remember times, being ashamed of him at points, being outside and trying to look cool in front of my little friends, and you dig your father, and I'm like, and it was hard because I went through so many different emotions at that point, trying to understand, what was going on and why us, like, out of all, why it had to be my father. I'm seeing him outside, and at times he would see me and he'd be like, yo, come here, boy, and I would be like, man, I would try to, like, toughen up and mask my feelings,
right.
And this is when I probably got to a point where I started to hide my true feelings.
Take us to the point where you become a father. Where are you in life at that time?
I become a father, unfortunately, while I still was in prison. You see, I came home and my son's mother got pregnant, and then I was home for 5 months, and then I had a parole violation. Now, during that 5 months, she had got pregnant, but I didn't find out she was pregnant until I was actually on the violation. So I'm in jail, and she tells me she's pregnant. I'm like, oh, you pregnant? I got to do a fresh year.
Oh, wow.
So by the time I came home, March 5th, 2003, he was 3 months old. I surprised his mother. I told her I was coming home on a Wednesday. I think I came home on a Tuesday. You know, showed up at the door. She had my son in her arms, and you know, I seen my son for the first time. It was love at first sight. You know, it was me and him.
Word.
When I come home, I had so many different fears, and one of the fears was not understanding or not knowing how I was going to make all this work for him. Right? It's a scary thing. Right? I'm on parole. I'm still foot in the street, and then I got this dream about being in the music business. And I'm a father now. So now, and not only am I a father, but then I got his mother expecting me to be a husband figure. So it was rough. It was rough on my mind because I was also tempted by the you know, the women, the life, and
right.
it was still kind of new to me, and I was being pulled in that direction. But at the same time, I wanted to be as good to him as I possibly could. Like, so the reason we had got so close is because when I come home, my baby mother basically was like, look, I'm going back to work. Let me show you how to get him up, burp him, bathe him, feed him, get him dressed. Let me show you how to do all that right now.
Right.
I'm talking about literally, as soon as I got home, she gave me a tutorial on how to handle the baby. You understand? Because she was like, listen, I'm going back in 2 days.
Wow.
It was a challenge, and we got a wonderful relationship right now. People see me and they're like, I love your relationship with your son, and I love it. And I think about my father, and I wish I was able to have a relationship with him like I have with my son. You know, so my son got 14. When he got around 13, 14, around the age that I was when my father passed, I was like, yeah, we doing it.
Right.
We made it, you know. And then when my son got to the age that I was when I went to prison, I was like, what? And I was just looking at him still like a baby. Like,
right.
I wasn't a baby though. Yeah. So it was a thing, man.
That's amazing.
Word.
Listen, I commend you, bro. Like,
yeah.
I got to
man.
see you. I've been in this industry for 20 years. You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of artists who come from nothing, get it, and leave everybody in the dust. You made it not only a point to bring him around, but you made it a point that even when he wasn't around,
That's right.
your presence was felt.
You know, the thing is, with fatherhood, or just being a parent in general, it doesn't stop. You can't turn it off. It don't matter what you got going on. And I think my son's mother kind of let me know this. It didn't matter where I was at, what I was doing. She would be like, hey, listen, your son need Pampers.
Word.
I'm like, yo, I'm all way in Long Island somewhere. I don't give a fuck. He need Pampers. What you gonna do? It's cold outside. It's snowing outside. He need Pampers right there. Like, so it didn't matter. So that let me know that it doesn't turn off.
Right.
My daughter is like my karma on the things that I've done wrong, the women. And like, when I look at her, she's like a little, embodiment of karma on me. Like, can I have a kiss? No. I love you. That's good.
Oh my.
Like, yo, I'm telling you, like, I love you. That's good to know, right? She's so sassy. She just walks all over me, man. And I'm telling you, just walks all over me. I'm like, nothing. Like, just, Dad, I was thinking, right? Can we go on this cruise? Like,
yo, I think Nas had that in his record, Daughters.
Absolutely.
He had that line,
When
God gets us back, he makes us have precious
absolutely.
little girls, man.
And it's like, you start to think about your actions as a man. You start to think about some of your choices and decisions, especially as it comes to women. Wow. Women have always been a thing for me. It's always been I love women. And I've never made that a secret. I've struggled in relationships because of that. So when I look at her and I say, damn, she needs something better than me. She needs something better than what I've been out here giving. Like, but I'm glad I got the relationships with my kids that I have, and I'm glad my kids have the relationship they have with each other. I I've never been to court for my kids, which is a blessing.
Absolutely.
You know, because I know how hard that is. I've never had to step a foot in the court and have somebody dictate what I'm supposed to do, or in the courts or something like that. So that's been a blessing, you know, with my kids' mothers, and you know, I've always just done everything that I could, you know.
So what changed in you? What shift did you make once you had this girl and this karma is staring you in the face? How did that impact?
It makes me rethink some of my decision making, and it's still a struggle, bro. I'm not going to sit up here and hold you, man. I'm not going to get up here and say no bullshit. Like,
absolutely.
You know, I'm still a man, and you know, and I still, you know, and I'm still active, so to speak, right?
Right.
But I have a conscience now, opposed to, you know, before I probably didn't have the conscience that I have now.
Right.
You know, sometimes when I just act, and then now it's like, damn, I see her little face, and I'm just like,
yeah,
like I could just see it, you know.
That's
She's
amazing.
a trip though, man, but it's a beautiful thing, you know. She calls me every day, and we speak. 'Cause she lives in L.A.
Okay.
So I have to go back and forth
Right.
to L.A. You know, and it's cool though. It's really cool.
That's amazing. How old is she?
She's 11.
She's 11.
Yeah, so I just took her. She just turned 11 in August. She's a Virgo like me.
Okay.
Her birthday is 4 days before mine, and I took her to the Bahamas, had the time of her life, you know, and yeah, Zane went too, so it was she bossed me around, you know. Dad, I want to get on a water ride. I'm tired right now. Nah, I want to go right now. Okay, let's go. I want ice cream.
Yo.
All right, let's get it.
So how has building a bond with your daughter been different than building a bond with Zane?
Because it's like, with a boy, this is my guy. I'm a guy. You know, that element, it's like, I think having a daughter was more scary for me. It's like, I don't know what to do, right? This is a whole, and I didn't have sisters.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
So it was like, it was something different
Right.
for me. So I had to the approach was different. You know, her temperament is different than Zane. Zane was just like a cool kid. He just was cool. He was ice water. He was cool. My daughter always been more or less like I'm gonna tell you something right now. Before my daughter knew how to speak, before she understood words, there was one word that she always understood, and that word was no. I'm talking about 7-8 months. No, Gia.
Wow.
The word no just always threw her.
Set her off.
Yeah, she's like a brat. Like, she wants what she wants. She needs what she needs.
Right.
And it just, the whole approach was different. And then I just had to, like, you know, adapt to being, you know, better. And I'm still, you know, trying to be better.
Word. On the next episode of the Rap Dads Show.
You ever notice deadbeat niggas don't get the problems we get? The niggas that don't give a shit, they don't go through the shit we get, bro.
My
They be the ones chasing the dude. Won't you come see your dude?
Oh, yeah.
I'm the one that, yo, shut up. You'll never see her again. Like, I'm like, that's ironic.
Rap Dads, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you're new. We drop new episodes every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Let me know in the comments what your favorite gem from this episode was, and please be sure to share it with a rap dad in your crew. This is just a piece of a longer conversation in the audio podcast available on all platforms. Be sure to check us out on social media at The Rap Dads Show. Check out rapdads.com for fly merch and updates. And remember our mantra, whatever is best for my kid wins. God bless you and your family. Peace.